Christmas Eve in a Bel-Air mansion, 400 guests, one grand staircase, a pregnant actress in a red gown gets pushed to her death in front of everyone. They zip her into a body bag and pronounce her gone forever. 30 seconds later, the bag unzips itself and a hand reaches out. Welcome to the night the dead refused to stay dead. The invitation was thick as a brick of gold bullion embossed in scarlet foil. You are cordially commanded to celebrate Christmas Eve at the residence of Oscar-winning director Roman Vale and his wife, Golden Globe nominee Lila Monroe. Vale 8:00 p.m. Sharp black tie, no phones, no mercy. Everyone who was anyone in Hollywood fought to get on that list. Roman's Christmas Eve party was the place you went to be seen, to close deals, to remind the world you still mattered. The mansion on Bel-Air Road had 38,000 square feet, a koi pond the size of a football field, and a marble staircase so photogenic it had its own IMDb page from every movie Roman shot. There, at 9:17 p.m., on December 24th, that staircase became the stage for the most watched murder in Hollywood history. Only the victim refused to stay dead. Lila Monroe Vale was 7 months pregnant and glowing in a custom crimson silk Valentino gown that cost more than most people's houses. The baby bump was artfully draped, not hidden. The press had been calling it the most glamorous pregnancy since Beyoncé. Roman hated it. He wanted the bump gone before awards season. He wanted Lila sleek, tragic, available for love scenes. He wanted the Oscar campaign to be about her brave comeback, not stretch marks and midnight feedings. So tonight, in front of 400 witnesses, he decided to fix the problem permanently. He waited until the string quartet launched into Oh Holy Night. Waited until the champagne had flowed long enough for tongues to loosen and phones to come out despite the no phones rule. Then he cornered Lila at the top of the grand staircase. You promised me. He hissed, breath hot with Macallan 25. You promised you'd take care of it, Roman. Stop. Lila's voice was soft, terrified, the same voice she'd used for months when he screamed at her in their bedroom. I'm keeping our son. He laughed, ugly and sharp. That thing is a career anchor. He grabbed her wrist so hard the diamonds on her bracelet cut her skin. Below them, the crowd swirled like a living chandelier. Producers in Tom Ford, influencers in borrowed Richard Quinn, agents pretending they weren't live, streaming on burner accounts. Roman leaned in, lips brushing her ear so only she could hear. If you won't end it, I will. Then he shoved her. Not a stumble, not an accident, a full, deliberate, two-handed push to the chest. Lila flew backward. The red silk gown flared like a parachute that refused to open. Her scream was short, cut off when her spine hit the marble edge halfway down. She tumbled the rest of the way like a broken doll in couture, landing at the bottom in a heap of crimson and gold, neck twisted at an angle no living person could survive. The music died. 400 champagne flutes froze midair. Someone dropped a plate of foie gras. It shattered like a gunshot. Roman stood at the top of the stairs, hands still outstretched, eyes wide in perfect Oscar-worthy shock. Oh my God, he cried, voice cracking beautifully. Lila, somebody help. He ran down the stairs 2 at a time, collapsing theatrically beside her body. He cradled her head, smearing her lipstick across his cheek like blood. She tripped, the heels. Someone get a doctor. A hush fell. Then chaos, screams, phones raised, live streams titled Lila Monroe Dead at Roman Vale Party. Roman sobbed harder when the paramedics arrived. He clutched her lifeless hand, whispering, "Stay with me, baby, stay with me," while secretly checking her pulse and finding none. The paramedics knelt. One felt for a carotid. Time of death, he began. Then the body bag zipper started moving from the inside. A collective gasp sucked every molecule of oxygen from the foyer. Lila's manicured hand shot out of the bag, grabbed the paramedic's wrist, and rasped one word, "Roman pushed me." The room detonated, but the real explosion was still coming, because the person who caught Lila's fall literally was sitting quietly in the corner in a carbon fiber wheelchair no one had noticed until that exact moment. Captain Noah Calder, Uzmkret, former fiancé of Lila Monroe, the man she left 5 years ago for someone who could walk the red carpet with her. The man whose custom wheelchair built like a Formula One car out of aerospace grade carbon fiber had been parked directly at the foot of the staircase because Roman had invited him tonight for one reason to humiliate him one final time. Roman had personally rolled Noah into position 20 minutes earlier. Perfect spot for the cripple to watch the real party. He'd sneered, loud enough for nearby guests to titter. Now that same wheelchair had saved Lila's life. She'd landed directly across Noah's lap. The impact snapped her neck forward instead of backward. The carbon fiber frame absorbed the force that should have shattered her spine. She'd been unconscious, not dead. Neck intact, baby still kicking, and the entire thing was being live streamed by 17-year-old Nepo, baby influencer at St. West Dupe who had 42 million followers and zero chill. Within 90 seconds, #Lila Lives was trending worldwide. Roman's face, frozen in genuine horror for the first time in his life, became the meme of the decade. Noah didn't waste time on theatrics. He wheeled forward, Lila cradled in his arms like she weighed nothing, and looked straight up at Roman. "You should have aimed better, asshole." Then he rolled his XV on, say still very much alive, straight past the screaming crowd, past the paramedics begging to examine her, past the Christmas tree that cost more than a house, and out front door into the Los Angeles night. The last thing the cameras caught was Roman lunging after them, screaming, "That's my wife." Only to be body checked by two off-duty Navy SEALs who happened to be Noah's plus ones. Merry Christmas. Cedars, Sinai, 11:47 p.m. Lila was conscious, bruised, furious, and hooked to every monitor known to modern medicine. The baby was perfect, she was not. Noah sat beside her bed in his dress blacks. Yes, he'd worn the uniform tonight just to watch Roman squirm, and held her hand like he'd never stopped. "I'm sorry," she whispered for the 100th time. "Stop." His voice was gentle but final. "You're here, he's not, that's what matters." Her phone, smuggled in by Noah's sister who worked labor and delivery, exploded with notifications. The live stream had 187 million views and climbing. Roman had been detained for questioning. His publicist had already released a statement claiming Lila was on drugs and delusional. The internet responded by doxing the publicist's home address and canceling her dog. At 2:13 a.m., LAPD showed up with a warrant. They needed Lila's statement on camera. She gave it wearing a hospital gown and a look that could have frozen the Pacific. "He grabbed my wrist. He said the baby was ruining his Oscar campaign. Then he pushed me down the stairs in front of 400 people. I have the bruises. You have the video. Arrest him." They did. By sunrise, Roman Vale was in Twin Towers Correctional Facility wearing an orange jumpsuit that clashed with his spray tan. Bail was set at $10 million. No one posted it. December 25th, Christmas Day. Noah's house in the Hollywood Hills was nothing like Roman's glass and marble monstrosity. It was mid-century low-slung private, built for wheelchairs, not for magazine spreads. Floor-to-ceiling windows looked over the city lights that never slept. Lila sat on the deck wrapped in one of Noah's Marine Corps hoodies that smelled like cedar and gun oil, watching the sunrise with a mug of peppermint tea cradled against her belly. Noah rolled up beside her. "Marry me," he said. Not a question. She laughed through tears. "You proposed the night I left you 5 years ago. I believe my answer was ask me when you can dance with me at the wedding." He reached into his pocket and pulled out the same ring, white gold with a single flawless diamond he'd offered her half a decade earlier. "I can't dance," he said quietly, "but I can spend the rest of my life making sure no one ever hurts you again, and I can push you around the floor in this chair if you want. We'll make it the most viral first dance in history." She stared at the ring, then at him. "Yes," she whispered, 1,000 times yes. Christmas Eve, 1 year to the minute after the fall. The same Bel-Air mansion, now owned by Noah and Lila, after Roman's assets were seized to pay victims. Turns out Lila wasn't the first wife he tried to fix. 400 new guests, same staircase. But this time, Lila walked down it on Noah's arm slowly, carefully their 9-month-old son Roman Noah called her. They kept the name to remind the world asleep against her chest in a tiny tuxedo. Oncey, at the bottom of the stairs, Noah stopped the wheelchair, stood up, yes, stood, on carbon, fiber prosthetic legs hidden beneath his trousers, and took one shaking step toward her. The room went silent. He took a second step, a third, then dropped to one knee. The ring was already on her finger, but he pulled out a new one anyway. An eternity band of black diamonds. "I believe I owe you a dance," he said, and in front of God, TikTok, and every major network, Noah Calder danced with his wife for the first time. He was unsteady. She was crying. Their son gurgled in the arms of Noah's mother. It was messy and imperfect and real. And it broke the internet in the best possible way. Roman Vale watched it on the prison common, room TV. Inmate #647,892, serving 25 to life. Somewhere in the distance, church bells rang in Christmas morning. And Lila Monroe, Vale no. Lila Calder whispered into her husband's ear the same words she'd said the night she came back from the dead. "Best Christmas ever."